and welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Dan and I'm here to bring you another FPL video. In this one, we're going to be looking at my team selection ahead of game week 4, where we look at captaincy data for this week. We look at possible transfers for my team, as well as a brief review of game week 3. So if you're new around here and you enjoy the content, guys, remember to hit that subscribe button below. But let's have a look first of all at how we got on in game week 3. So as you can see, 68 points all out. Very, very happy with that. Plenty of things to talk about here, but we'll try and keep it as brief as possible. We got a green arrow of about 2 million, but again, the ranks are so condensed still in terms of points. I'm not paying too much attention to that just yet. We've got 2 million in the bank in terms of moves to make, and the moves we did make last week did pay off. So I used my 2 free transfers last week. I moved on Watkins for Jackson, and I moved on Martinelli for Phil Foden. So I scored essentially a +4 with those moves. Foden scoring me 4, Martinelli only scoring 2, and Watkins scoring 5 and Jackson scoring 7. So a +4. It's not a massive gain, to be honest, but again, as I always recommend, have a look at the average across, say, 4 or 5 game weeks to know whether a transfer was successful or not just one isolated game week. Of course, the heroes of the story really here this week are Bruno Fernandes and Udogie, 12 points apiece. Really happy with those two coming through. Of course, Pickford, another disappointing late conceded goal, meaning his clean sheet got wiped out. Of course, Haaland missing a penalty as well, meaning his return was a little bit lower than first anticipated. Of course, Gabriel, another painful point as well, where he didn't feature again in game week 3 against Fulham, which means that he's definitely going to be on the chopping block sooner rather than later. Already dropped by 0.2 million now, down to 4.8 as well. So yeah, lots to think about, a few pain points, and that's where we're going to smoothly move into our transfer plans. So Brighton boys and really Gabriel are my 2 pain points across this team, and I think this week, I don't really want to focus on a defensive transfer. I still think it's too passive. I think the midfield options that we've got available and attacking options available to us are just so good and strong that we need to take advantage of those fixture swings. And Tottenham certainly had that last week. So it's maybe a 1 week late situation with him. He did score 10 points in the previous game week. Could have been even more. But I think Matoma to Maddison definitely makes sense. I have unfortunately missed the price rise from 7.6 to 7.7 million. So I have to spend that extra 0.1, but it wasn't a risk I was willing to take with the midweek cup fixtures happening. So still haven't signed Maddison just yet. It is something that I'm 90% sure I'm going to be doing, but that's only on the basis that we don't get any injury situations or any problems occur after this evening's games wrap up. So that's my transfer plans, guys. Let me know in the comments below what you're planning to do. Of course, for captaincy data next up, then I have got a little bit more detail to share with you guys this time around. I have also included the expected goals conceded by a player's opposition, just to give us essentially another level of data to be looking at and analysing. If you're new to the channel and you haven't seen this before, I'll just give you a quick breakdown of what it means. So if we take Haaland as the example, we know that in his heat map, he primarily operates in the central area of the attacking sort of stage of the pitch. So in this situation, because he faces Fulham, I've taken the data from Fantasy Football Scout and checked how many chances Fulham had conceded since the opening game week to now in the central area, which equates to 13. And of course, the XGC total for them across all those game weeks was 9.85. And of course, the FPL points are for Haaland in total so far. So hopefully that makes sense. And as we go through bit by bit, we can kind of break down where I think the focus area should be. And if we take Jackson and Sterling as 2 differential options for Chelsea, first of all, I think they are within their own right, certainly differentials. When we look at Nottingham Forest's data, though, in terms of defensive numbers, that 4.17 statistic kind of surprised me a little bit in terms of that expected goals conceded. That's quite low in comparison to what I think most people associate with Forest. I don't think they're the kind of whipping boys this season, to be honest. I don't think they're a fixture that we can easily target this year like we did last season. I think they've started to get a little bit more formidable at the back and get some kind of squad structure in place to prevent those XGC numbers from rising. And we can see the polar opposite of that is Fulham. They're actually one of the worst, if not the worst, this season so far, with nearly 10 expected goals conceded. I think, to be honest, if it wasn't for Leno's save prowess, that would have conceded even more than that. So I honestly look at captaincy here and think Haaland and Foden probably do make the most sense. But if you really do want to go differential territory, and of course, you know, the two maybe not so talked about individuals in terms of captaincy data is in Burmo and Bowen. I think when you look at these statistics here, they are absolutely fantastic. 14 chances and 10 chances conceded from both Bournemouth and Luton, respectively, in the positions that these two play. And they do concede a similar amount of chances in terms of expected goals conceded, 6.21 and 6.29. And that you can see in terms of their form, they've both scored above 20 points in the game so far, 25 and 23 respectively. So I think, standalone picks this week, they look really like very, very strong options. But if you really want to push the boat out and go differential, then I don't really hate putting the armband on one of them either. But again, I still think I have to default back to this man Erling Haaland. Even though he's missed the penalty, I still think he's going to be on them. I still think this Fulham fixture probably even works out better for him than that Sheffield United away fixture. And this is prime hat-trick territory for both him and Foden combined. So let's see how it plays out. But I'm pretty confident I'm going to keep the armband on Erling Haaland. As we move into the Game Week 4 lineup, then you can see in front of you, this is the four-man defence I have. I'm definitely looking at removing Pickford come wildcard time, but for now, I don't really want to use a free transfer on a goalkeeper. I'm more than happy playing him against Sheffield United away. Of course, Udogie and Chilwell, I think, are going to tick along very nicely. They've got very good fixtures over the next few weeks. And of course, both having that attacking threat as well as that defensive numbers too. Estepinian's a little bit tricky in the medium term with European fixtures on the horizon as well for Brighton. He could be somebody that I move on. But for now, in this game week, I really don't feel like I can play Kabore or Gabriel of Arsenal ahead of him. I think his attacking output is just too good to miss. So I think I'm going to put him against Newcastle in the hope that he gets some double-digit returns for me. And then when we look into the midfield, of course, Maddison does come into the picture here, although he hasn't been confirmed as the move just yet. Again, I just don't think I can hold on to two Brighton assets through those difficult run of fixtures, and Maddison's are just longer term, much, much better. So I think that's the move I'm going to make. Of course, Saka, Rashford, Foden, and Bruno Fernandes accompany him in this midfield. Rashford and Bruno Fernandes have got a difficult one against Arsenal away, but I think this one might suit both of them. I think, the kind of long ball pass that Bruno Fernandes can do over that high line that Arsenal tend to play, with Rashford's pace in on behind. We've seen how he's capitalised at playing against Arsenal before with goals and assists, and I think this could be the game week for him. Even though on paper it's a tough one, I think this could be a higher scoring week for Rashford than it would Bruno. Then, of course, we have Phil Foden. Hopefully he gets the start this week. Unfortunate news about that illness against Sheffield United, as I think that was a really key fixture for wanting to own him, but it did work out for me in the end anyway. So hopefully he comes back into the starting 11 for this Fulham fixture. And of course, Saka, there was never any doubt, right, that he was on penalties, surely. So now he's back on penalties, we expect, or was he ever off them anyway? Against Man United, we're not looking very good defensively. Varane has always also been confirmed as out now for at least a couple of weeks, alongside Luke Shaw until December. So we're looking quite weak at the back with looking at last-minute transfer window opportunities. I think this man could capitalise on no Luke Shaw at left back. So let's see how they get on. Of course, then the front two are Haaland and Jackson. No changes there. And of course, as mentioned, the captaincy is firmly on the Norwegian at the moment, with the vice captaincy currently on Foden. With the bench, really nothing to talk about here. No headaches, really. I could possibly put in Kabore ahead of Estepinian. I do like Kabore's attacking threat. I do like the positions he's been getting himself into, but I'm just not sure I back Luton defensively enough to warrant his place in the starting 11. Of course, Archer has made the move from Aston Villa to Sheffield United now. However, I still can't fit him in terms of the formation I'm currently playing. And of course, Gabriel sat there as the third bench option as well. So that's how my team lines up, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed that content. Let me know in the comments below how you're getting on and shaping up. Now we can focus on a bit more of the community content. So we've got the prize mini league in front of us for the top 10 community members here. Samuel taking the top spot. So congratulations to you so far, sir. Knocking Shawnee M down from first into third. Of course, there's a lot of changes that will happen, no doubt, across these opening game weeks still. But congrats to anybody that is on this list here in the top 10. Of course, we can also give a shout out to a long-term supporter of the channel, Abdullah. You are still in the top 10, sir. Had a bit of a shaky week this week with 48 points, but still nearly 200 points in 3 game weeks is a very strong start, sir. So well done to you. In terms of joining the mini leagues, these are the 2 codes to join. If you still want to join the prize league, you can do. I will be closing entries on the closure of game week 5. So just ahead of game week 6's deadline, I'll be stopping any new entries into that prize league. simply to reward the long-term viewers and supporters of the channel for that prize. And then, of course, if you want to just join a more fun league and just test your wits and essentially your ability against other members of this community, then you can join the fun league, which is open all season but does not have a prize associated with it. Then we can have a look at, of course, the news of the Discord server launching. It has been live now for a couple of weeks, so it's good to see many community members joining. But if you still haven't and you're not sure about it, please do come over and check it out. There's lots to dive into over there. I've got all sorts of different automation in terms of updates from lineups when they come out, price changes overnight, of course, any injuries or new player transfers get announced. Plenty of channels to get stuck into, and of course I will continue to improve it based on your suggestions, and of course throughout the season it will be added to. So hopefully you come over there and join me. There is a direct invitation link in the video description, so feel free to come over there and say hello. But that's going to wrap up the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching as always and supporting the channel. If you would like to see more and you're new around here, then do consider hitting that subscribe button for all future content. And of course I'll be doing a live stream on Friday night, so feel free to join me on there. But if not, then I will see you in another video soon. Take care.